All right, good afternoon. We're now ready to start the UConn Student Athlete Press Conference. I'd like to remind you one more time, please make sure your phones are on mute. And at this time, we'll go ahead and open up the floor for questions. Please raise your hand and we'll get you a microphone. All right, let's start in the back.
David Hill with ESPN. Guys, last night after the game, Coach Hurley said that if it wasn't, quote, for his, antics and viral moments, you guys would be getting more appreciation and attention for the run that this program has been on over the last few years. I'm curious, any of you can answer this, obviously. What do you make of that, and do you wish there was more attention on what you guys have done, or do you kind of like it that a lot of us tend to focus on Coach instead?
Hassan, could you answer that question?
I mean, yeah, the last, couple of years, the run has been amazing. We've all enjoyed it, but we're still on the run, and we still want to continue it.
All right, let's go over there, Jacob.
Sam Callan, the Daily Campus. Haas, you guys faced Walter Clayton Jr. 2 years ago with Iona. Just how has this game evolved from then until now?
Yeah, I mean, he's playing at an All-American level. You could really shoot the ball off the bounce. We just have to, follow our game plan and, make it tough for him.
All right, let's go to the the black shirt. There you go. And then we're behind him.
Hey, Steve Reed from the Associated Press. For all of you guys, Alex in particular, you guys go into tomorrow's game as almost a double-digit underdog, which is not something that you guys have seen very often over the last couple of years. I just want to mentally, being that underdog, how does that feel, and is it less pressure in some ways, I guess?
Yeah, it's definitely less pressure, but I felt like we've been the underdog the entire season ever since we came back from Maui. So we're used to being the underdogs for a majority of the season, and it's not really a new stage for us this year. So, we'll be ready for tomorrow.
Terrace, could you answer that question as well?
Yeah, like you said, we feel like other people feel like we're the underdog. Yeah, that's cool, but go out there and play hard, play like we have nothing to lose. So I feel like that's going to be the key to the game, locking up defensively, knowing what type of team they are, explosive on the offensive end. So being able to hone in on our defensive skills and control the glass.
Hassan, is there anything to add?
Yeah, we just, being an underdog going into tomorrow is nothing new to us. We just got to be ready.
All right, other questions? I'm sorry.
Jesse Doherty from the Washington Post. So this is for Alex. Florida's coach was in here earlier saying after he played UConn a couple years ago, he kind of saw a blueprint for what he might want to build there. Have you noticed, as you guys have had all this success, that maybe teams have started to play like you? And if so, what's that looked like?
Definitely. I think, teams have started to follow our model and our style and ways, and that's just been with teams across the country. You definitely see teams stealing different actions or defensively as well. So, the coaching staff's done a great job of finding that and just establishing that for us the last 2 years and this year. And, it's worked, so other people want to succeed as well.
All right, all the way in the back there, Ethan.
Alex, you mentioned you felt like an underdog since Maui. How much different do you feel like this team is today than it was when you got back from that trip?
It's extremely different. It's two completely different teams. We've gone a lot stronger since that trip. We've gone a lot stronger with injuries that we've had to deal with. So we're completely different. We've learned a lot. We've learned how to play alongside each other better, and the coaching staff's just done a really good job of helping us continue to get to the point that we are this year. So it's been a long journey, but we've learned a lot and we became stronger from it.
Let's go on the edge here.
Hey, Alex, Coach talked about, wanting you to take more shots. What's his message personally to you, as you prepare for this one?
Yeah, it's the same as it's always been. Just he has so much trust and confidence in who I am as a player. He does want me to shoot the ball more, and I definitely do got to do that at times. So I just got to have that confidence in myself as well. But everyone in the locker room believes in me, or the coaching staff believes in me, and I got to, especially at this stage of the tournament.
Any other questions? Okay, let's go back there.
Terrace, first off, did you bring your saxophone on this trip? And also, you do seem to have like a certain rhythm to your game. I don't know if it's maybe a forced, I don't know, connection, but are there any ways in which being a musician maybe influences how you play basketball?
Yeah, no, I did not bring my saxophone on this trip, but it is with me in stores at the gym right now. But yeah, I feel like playing music has helped me so much on the court and off the court. But like I said, like basketball is a rhythm. Each person has their own rhythm, their own cadence, and once you figure it out, it's easier to go on defense. But on the offensive side, you have to know what your cadence is. So for the longest time, like mine was a little bit like too finessey. So getting here in the summer, I mean, coach wanted to make an emphasis on me being more physical, more dominant, more assertive in the post. So I feel like the balance of both worlds is like a perfect balance for me.
Any other questions? All right.
This could go for any three of you. Playing Oklahoma and SEC team last night, just how the SEC's had a great season all year long. Do you think being Oklahoma and the way you guys did in the gritty matchup helps you prepare for tomorrow night?
Hassan, could you answer that, please?
Yeah, I would say it definitely helped us prepare for us for tomorrow night. I mean, Oklahoma was a very good team, very physical team. They played tough, especially down the stretch. And I think we need to do the same thing that we did. A lot of the same things that we did in yesterday's game, we need to do that tomorrow.
Any other questions? All right, gentlemen, you're excused. Thank you very much, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Coach Hurley is due at 4:15. All right, good afternoon. Once again, please make sure all of your telephones are muted. And we're just going to go ahead and start with questions for Coach Hurley. Can we just start up front, Ethan?
Thanks. Hi, Dan Marcanizaro from the New York Post. Just curious about what you make of the development of Clayton. You saw him a few years ago, obviously, and what makes him special now?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's funny. You look at the beginning of our run. He shared the court with us, and you could see the two-way ability. The size, the physical strength. Obviously, the shooting is highest level. I mean, he looks everything. He looks the part of first-team All-American. When I asked Luke, who has the scout, like, he was SEC Player of the Year, right? And he said no. I said, who the hell got it? And it was like, all right, Broom, all right. So, but yeah, the shooting, though, I think is what's taken it to a crazy high level for him. The range, the fact that he does it off the dribble, the fact that he gets it off as quick as he gets it off. I mean, some of the ones that he's making, or a large majority of the ones he's making, you can't do much about it. I mean, they are NBA level shots. I don't know where he is on mock drafts. He should be there. He looks to me like a guy who's, got some Fred VanVleet type of abilities as a guard. Impressive player with great instincts.
Okay, let's stay on that edge here, Ethan.
Jesse Doherty with the Washington Post. Dan, Todd was in here earlier saying that when he faced you guys 2 years ago, he started to maybe see what he wanted to build his program into. And I'm curious if having so much success, there's a trap there of maybe giving teams a template to how to then beat you, and how much you've maybe seen teams try to mimic what you guys have done in recent years.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I've looked at, I remember that game, obviously. In 23, it was, the beginning of this run that we've been on. And, I think that what we learned the most from our failure in 22 was, the roster construction piece, which, we absolutely nailed the last 2 years. And, I'm looking at, obviously as this season has gone on, I've looked at the best teams in the country and how they've constructed this year, and I've envied some of the teams that I'm now facing or that I've had a chance to watch. So, I think we all watch and learn from each other on a year-to-year basis. I think it's just what they have in terms of their front court is obviously similar to what we've had in our run, and then obviously the perimeter firepower and the veteran guards, us with Cam Spencer, Tristan Newton, big physical guards, Steph Castle. We've had the formula the last couple of years, and it looks like they've got a pretty good formula.
Okay, on the edge here, Jacob.
Josh Graham, WSJS. In the spirit of envying what other teams might have, we often hear coaches talk about remembering the losses more than wins. With that in mind, and sharing a building with Cooper Flagg this weekend, how often do you think about, or how much does it bother you, the recruiting battles you might have, and have you had a moment to think what this roster might have been like if he was on it?
Yeah, I think during the course of your career, I think any time, no matter where you are, whether you're at Wagner, Rhodey, when I was coaching high school basketball at St. Benedict's, and Kyrie went to St. Pat's, and Kevin Boyle kicked my ass with Kyrie. I rued the day that I didn't get that guy to come to St. Benedict's. So I think that's just kind of human nature and part of it. I think you're always, when you see players, go to other places and do well, you imagine, what that player at different moments, what that would have been like to coach. But I think all coaches kind of do that. At different times, you don't obsess over it.
Okay, Ethan, let's go third row in the middle, then we go front, and then we'll work back.
Dan, Mike Anthony from Hurston, Connecticut. Solo ball seems filled with joy to be playing the role he's playing with this team. But I think back to last year in Brooklyn and Boston, he was filled with joy to be along for the ride. He just seems to have loved his experience. What has his ability to handle two distinctly different roles with the same approach meant to your program?
Yeah, just Solo just came into this, into the program. When you have two great parents like Solo has, that obviously, loving and nurturing, but also to, demanding and high standards. So you're just getting someone in your program that is, is just going to add a lot to your culture, and is going to be a great program guy. Obviously, super talented, with the shooting, and a guy that's got a high level of confidence and self-belief, and is improving in a lot of different aspects of his game. I think you see the defensive improvement, right now before your eyes. I think you see the guard play improvement. Obviously, the foul trouble, hurt his overall line last night. We got to find a way to get him 4 or 5 more shots in tomorrow's game. We can't have games maybe where he ends with 8 or 9 shots. We've got to get him 13, 14 shots in tomorrow night's game, because he's built for he's built for this stage. He's built for what UConn's trying to do.
Okay, front row, and then we're going back.
Dave Borges, Hearst, Connecticut Media. Dan, Sampson, the all-time wins leader here after last night. I guess this kind of answers itself, but what does that say about him? And we all know the wall potential quote when he came in as a freshman. That's not going to happen. But is that still a pretty good summary of his career? The fact that he's the all-time in this program?
Yeah. I mean, Sampson's just the most awesome human being, and you'll ever have in your program. Just all about team, super talented, waited his turn, dealt with injuries, had to earn his spot, had to earn a starting spot. Will do absolutely anything he can to, help the team win the possession. And, he just, it speaks to the type of men we've had and the type of run we've had here in a program. It's hard to make history or do historical things at UConn. Just proud that he gets, that's crazy. That a program like UConn, you've won the most games, man.
All right, Ethan, we're going to go 4th row, then 5th row, then 3rd row. So
almost got me to start crying, man.
Kevin Brockway, Gainesville Sun. Obviously, before Todd Golden, Billy Donovan achieved a high level of success at Florida before going on to the NBA. And I understand you guys have a little bit of a relationship. Just what kind of sounding board has he been to you over the years, and your thoughts about, facing a Florida program that was once led by him?
Yeah, I mean, as a young coach, those were the teams that I admired. I mean, Billy's always been one of my coaching idols, and he's impacted me in terms of mentors as much as anyone outside of the Hurley clan. He's had as much or more impact, probably the most. Although he's gone dark on me the last couple days here. He's not responding to texts or phone calls from me. So, but yeah, I mean, those Florida teams, those are some of my favorite teams I've ever watched play, with Horford and Noah and Brewer. I mean, those teams are amazing, and to have accomplished the things that my coaching idol has accomplished, and how much I love those Florida teams, and we've been able to do what they've been able to accomplish. It means obviously it means a lot to me, but the relationship means more to me than anything, because he's helped me so much. Billy is. He's incredible.
Okay, let's stay on that edge here, right?
Dan, Steve Reed from the Associated Press. So you're in a position you haven't been in very often over the last couple of years in the tournament. It's almost a double-digit underdog going in tomorrow. First of all, I guess in general, how does that, kind of feel different? And secondly, can you use that as momentum when you're talking, or incentive when you're talking to the guys? Is it something you'll bring up and doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't think you like walk around saying to yourself when you coach or play at UConn, and you are coming off back-to-back championships. We're just with the way that the season has played out. Obviously, we're at our low end, we've had losses that have put us into this 8-9 position, but we're a couple of possessions away from, if we don't completely melt down at the end of the Seton Hall game, if we don't, and I don't, implode in Maui and blow all 3 of those games, if we make a couple free throws, at the end of that Villanova game, we may be looking at, a 5 seed at worst here. So I don't know that when you coach or play at UConn and you're coming off the success that we've had, that we're looking at ourselves that way. The film doesn't lie about Florida, the challenges that they present in terms of what they do offensively, what they do defensively, what they do on the backboard. It's eerily similar to what the challenges that we've presented to people. But this is it's not a best of 7 game series. This is it's a 1 game, do or die situation. For us, there's a distinct way that we're going to want to play this game tomorrow. That we believe is going to give us a chance, to win the game. If we could, obviously, shore up our defense, which has been better late in the year. I thought it was, versus Oklahoma team yesterday. That was, they were a very difficult shot that Kentucky made at the Horn to beat them. They were a very difficult shot away from playing in the SEC semifinals. Oklahoma was, and I thought we guarded them very well yesterday. So obviously our defense is going to be stressed out to the max. Our rebounding is going to be stressed out to the max. But we've got to do things to give ourselves a chance tomorrow versus this team.
Okay, 3rd row there, Ethan.
Joe Root of the Hartford Courant. Dan, Liam obviously has had a lot on his shoulders this year as far as responsibilities with this team. How have you seen how does he respond to tough games like he's had a little bit lately, and what do you need from him tomorrow to have a chance?
Yeah, I mean, he has the exact type of mental toughness and upbringing and work ethic and and career success where he could put behind him the kind of a couple of tough games which he's experienced. I think it makes him really dangerous tomorrow. I think it makes him incredibly dangerous in the game where he has the ability, if we can execute and get him the type of looks that we've got to get for him offensively from a coaching staff and the players around him, that he's convinced that he's due. And some players will stay in it, and some players will go through stretches like this and say, I'm closer to being due. And in the back of his mind, he's got that Creighton game, where against one of the toughest defenses that you'll play against, the guy went off for 38. So in the back of his mind, he knows what he's capable of, and in his mind, he thinks he's due.
All right, Jacob, go back a little bit. There you go.
Coach Sam Callahan, the Daily Campus.
What's up, Sam?
How's it going? So regardless of opponent, yesterday Florida just came out swinging against Norfolk State, and they've done that numerous times this season. How important against the most efficient offense in the country, how important it is for you guys to just – how important is the first 4 minutes of this game tomorrow?
Yeah, I just think every possession is critical. I think with them, what you see is just the runs. When you play elite offense and you play elite defense and you're a tremendous rebounding team and you're deep. Last year I just talked about we were bulletproof in the tournament because of all of those factors. And when you have a team like that, it just allows you to go on runs. It's those hit a three, get a stop, get out in transition, get a dunk, get a stop, hit a three, boom. It was just, you were just up 2, now you're down 5. That's where they get you. So, for us, we're obviously, going to have to, just be in a possession battle. We can't really afford to try to play, an SEC type of game against them where we're coming down and shooting within the first 5 seconds of the shot clock, and then we're loose on defense and they shoot early in the clock, and then we've got to try to play a different type of game than that.
Okay, Jacob, take a step up the 4th row there, and then the next question will be right behind you.
Dan, since you were talking about ACC Big East expansion the other day, I'm just curious how much history...
I didn't bring it up. I was just responding.
That's right. I'm just interested in how much history you have
Dom did.
In this state. And I know that it's become a trend of late for high major top program scheduling home and homes. Have you had discussions with Duke, North Carolina? Would you like to play more in this state?
Yeah, I would love to, because I think tomorrow night, I think that the Duke fans, obviously, they have their history with UConn and that rivalry. But my hope in tomorrow afternoon's game with the crowd, with the Duke people that file in, is that the number 11 Hurley jersey, and that trumps the petty UConn Duke. I know our fans could be brutal on social and that digital sewer, but I'm hoping, though, that Bobby Hurley and what he did for Duke and what Duke did for him and what they meant to each other, and Coach K maybe blesses it, that the Duke fans maybe help me out tomorrow in there. Yeah, and we would like to. I mean, we're for us, obviously, everything has changed in terms of less MTEs and more wanting to do a couple of single game MSG or somewhere big, somewhere in Chicago for a single game, and then home and homes. And yes, I mean, we reach out for Kentucky, we reach out for Duke and Carolina and Kansas, and we're trying to schedule those exciting home and homes or neutral site events that just get people's attention for college basketball in November and December. Playing games like that, I think, are just great for the sport, and we want to play them. And yes, we have reached out, and I think we'll be excited. We'll be announcing some exciting ones that we'll be playing. But it takes 2 to tango.
Okay, stay on that edge.
Darren Stoltzfus, Western News, Orlando. Todd was just up there talking about how, with all the success you guys have had in this tournament, especially the last couple of years, your team expects to win. They have that mentality. How valuable is that, intangible, and how difficult is that to attain?
Yeah. I mean, in all fairness to the team, obviously we've been able to, retain the staff, and, but a majority of the players that were part of the two-year run are now starring in the NBA. But we still have, obviously, some significant players with Caravan and Samson Johnson, Hassan Diarra, and Jay Stu and Solo Ball. Jay Ross have all helped last year's team as well. So we still have that DNA, and I think more so for us, there was tremendous relief based on how tumultuous the season was, and how loud the external noise has been the whole year, both for everything that surrounds me and surrounds UConn basketball, with how successful we've been. I think there's just been a great level of relief for our team, just to hear our name called, to be able to obviously to have gotten through the first game, and now have an opportunity to play one of the best teams in the tournament for the right to get to a Sweet 16. I mean, we understand the challenges that Florida presents. The tape does not lie. The analytics and the efficiency of their offense and defense, all that stuff does not lie. You can't really get lucky in this tournament. So we're just we know that it's not a best of 7, you know, and we've faced the same type of pressure that Todd and his team, you know, is facing playing these games. Like, Todd knows what type of team he's got. I knew what type of team I had the last couple of years, and when you know you've got a squad, you know, that's like a real thing when you get to these round of 32, Sweet 16, like, you know you've got a squad. So I could relate to what he's experiencing right now.
Any other questions? All right, Coach, thank you very much. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.